guys? Dr. Vic here, and this is another episode on the Mindful Experiment where you have me for 12, 15, 20 minutes sharing something that's pressing, that's been coming up, that's a common theme, something maybe I've been sharing on podcasts with clients or questions that I've been asked either in workshops that I do with clients and so much more. And this is something that keeps coming up, and it's something that I thought I talk about because I've talked about this before. This is not something new. This is something that I talk a lot about with clients, and it's the main essence of what I do. When it comes to effortless success and achieving your dream life effortlessly, sometimes people think this is like snake oil, but there's a truth behind it. And one of the principles that I do and I talk so much about and I focus so much on is a law called the law of vibration. And in today's episode, it's all about your vibes. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. So I'm going to tie a couple things together to kind of share the principles of this, how this works, how does it play a role in your life, and what are the things that you can do to shift your vibe. Okay. And then I'll share also, if you want to take that even further, I have a little something special at the end that I can share with you. So make sure you listen to the whole episode. So what's vibe? Right? What's this thing called vibration or energy or frequency or consciousness level? What is that whole thing? And it understand that what we know about the universe, it's almost 100% energy. All the dark matter, dark energy, or the dark matter, or whatever you want to call it, and antimatter and all that stuff. We realize it's mostly energy. We also understand that our human body is mostly energy. We realize that most of everything is energy. There's a ton of space in everything. You can take the human body, compose all the matter, and it's about the size of a penny, and the amount of energy in the rest of the body is the size of a football field. That's a lot of energy compared to how much mass is really there. Okay. Now, when we think of terms of energy or vibration, there's things that we do on a daily basis that creates a certain vibe, and it's a certain consciousness level. Okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit to give you some backstory, and then we'll continue forth. So when you were born into this world, you were born at a specific consciousness level. All right. This is the work that comes from Dr. David Hawkins, Power versus Force. If you read my books, you've listened to this podcast, you heard me talk about this book. And in there, he talks about consciousness levels, and he, determines where individuals are and how that you only move really in a lifetime about 5 to 7 points in a consciousness level range. Very few people break out of that. And that was a curiosity for me years ago when I first read this book. I was around 24, 25. And it was one of those things where I was like, I need to figure out why. And, through my journey and understanding neuroscience, understanding, beliefs, and then subconscious mind, genetics, and how we pass things down, ancestral curses, and all these things, I put the pieces of the puzzle together to determine why that happens. And then what's the work we have to do to break through that? And I've created systems to help individuals do that with my coaching clients to make that a possibility so you can find more fulfillment. Because I really believe that excitement of life, that essence of fulfillment, and that really, you can have that now. You don't have to wait till you have something. It can happen now. But when you break out, you see life in a whole different realm because you broke the code of your life and your ancestry and your consciousness level range at which you're going to stay at. Now, there's ways everybody can do this. But there's a level of conscious level where we vibe at, and that determines where our experiences are, what we're going to see, what we're going to have, the pressing things, and so much more. It's your default mode you're always going to return back to. But you can change all this by setting your intention and vibe every single day. Now, a consciousness level or a vibe or frequency is going to be your thoughts and emotions and what you focus on. Now, some people just say it's thoughts and emotions. I say, yeah, but when you're focusing on something, that creates a reaction too. When you see something in a certain way, this is why the mindset comes in. This is why I was so fascinated about mindset after learning so much energy medicine, energy healing techniques, because mindset plays such a role in so many of these things. And if we there's the thoughts and there's the emotions, but we also have, where's our mindset going, and where's it attracted to our values and all this. And this gets a little more complex and doesn't keep the message simple. So I'm not going to go too much into that stuff, but I'll just leave it as mindset. But you have these three parameters that determine that. Now, in our life, where we are today is accumulation of choices, and pretty much not really your choices. It's really with the vibe of what you've been in the past. This is your karma, right? You heard the word karma before. I've done podcasts on this. When I first started, I think it was like podcast 20 or 30, I talked about karma, and I wrote it in my book. I talked about karma again multiple times, and I think I've done a couple different episodes on this, to where karma really is not something that's going to come and bite you back and get at you in some way, shape, or form, or the karma you have to burn off and, before you can, all these other things. It has nothing to do with any of that. Karma from the Sanskrit word means action. Okay. So it's the actions of your past that led you to where you are today. It's the choices of what you made in your past where you are today. We're going to take that one step deeper and go, it's the vibrations that you've been setting every single day and focusing on every single day, the conscious levels that you choose to experience every single day is what led you to where you are today. And if you're not being intentional with your day and where you're setting your vibe, then you're not going to see yourself achieve or see yourself experience what it is you desire. So what most people fail at, and what happens is they don't realize the thoughts and the vibe that they put the energy to. They don't realize that they're not setting the tone every single day. What we do for majority of people is we have reactions to things, and we let the reaction of that dictate how we're going to feel. And so we're always being in a reactive state. And then you have things called the matrix, which you haven't read my book yet, Decoding the Matrix. I highly recommend. You'll understand this in so much more depth, how that influences and plays a role on us also. So there's all these different things and all these different forces that are shifting us in some way, shape, or form. And it's setting us to be in a certain vibe, in a certain way. But we have the power to choose different, to experience something different, and to have something different. At the end of the day, you just have to focus on your vibe and what it is and how you're experiencing. How high is your vibe? What are you thinking? What are the thoughts? What are the things you're saying to yourself, right? Because so many times we're so stuck in the past and we're self-sabotaging and carrying baggage from our past that's holding us to a future of what we desire. I see this time and time again when I work with people, when I talk to people on discovery calls, when I'm working with clients, sometimes it's there. I had it in my own life, and I'm very well aware of some of that stuff, and it still shows up in my life. I'm not perfect. I don't have this down to a T. I'm very transparent in the work I do, to where it's like, there's things that I still work on. There's things that still get to me. There's things I still struggle with. But at the end of the day, I'm doing the work, showing up and practicing and working on changing my vibe, setting my intention, and seeing my future to where I want it to be and how I want to go forth with that to allow me to achieve what it is I want to be in that future now. And so every morning you have the opportunity to set the vibe, set the tone for what you want it to be. And that's the beauty of creating. Because here's the thing. The law of vibration, it works whether you believe it or not. And the law of vibration states that you can only experience whatever you're vibrating at. Nothing above, nothing below, nothing outside of it. It's only what you're vibrating at. And so when you start to think about this, what you see in your life is just a feedback system. What you're experiencing in your life is just a feedback system of what you're vibing at and what you're putting out into the field. Okay. So when you hear me say the field, there's a field, an energy, you call it the universe, whatever you like to call it. Some people call it the field. And it's the thing that when you send these signals out there, it's going to send something back. It's going to send the same signal of what you're putting back. So what that means is it's the same vibe. That's the law of attraction, right? Because that's how law of attraction works. See, law of attraction is great, but you have to understand law of vibration. That's the first one. And then follows that is law of attraction. Then follows that is law of manifestation, which means that it's now showing up in the physical world. And so that's the feedback system. If you're not vibrating right, you're not attracting the things you desire, and you're going to see it, not seeing the things you want to show up in your life. If you want to make a 7-figure business, but at the same token, you're struggling in some way, shape, or form, then that's a feedback system that you're not aligned. Your conscious level and your vibration is not there. If you're not in a state of being in joy, bliss, and having this excitement for the day, I'm not saying all the time. That's a lie. No one's like that all the time. I'm not like that for sure all the time. But it's one of those things where but you're working on it, being on your A game, being 100% almost 95% of the time. That's kind of where I'm at most days. Then all of a sudden it becomes a game changer, and it allows you to then, as you hold that vibe higher and higher and higher, it strengthens your magnetic powers or your electromagnetic field that you're attracting more. It becomes stronger. And this is how people can have massive changes in their life in a very short period of time because of that. And so this is why one of the reasons I became a business coach is because I get so fascinated about these things. Because when you look at business advice, they're like, yeah, look at this person. They grew in this much amount of time. Look at the system they follow. And they just did. And this person was working 100 hours a week. And eventually look what happened in a year. They got to a six-figure business and multiple sixes. And next year was almost just shy of seven, or they did hit seven. And it's like, that's great. But there's other ways to do it where you're not killing yourself along the way. I'm not saying one better than the other. I just choose the quantum world. I choose the world that discusses and dives in and talks about the elements of understanding this different reality. It's the invisible world that's what creates our physical world. I want to know. I've been studying this stuff for 15 years, so it's one of those things like I love that part of the world because it is a whole different way of creating what you desire. There's no force energy. It's all about attraction. It's all about things coming to you and not having to worry about it. But the key to make that attraction stronger, that signal that you send out there, okay, or that I like to call it a signal. It could be a frequency. It's really more a frequency and a vibration that you're sending out there. The more your vibe is higher and more consistently like that, the more you're going to attract these things into your life and what you desire, what you choose. That's the power of your vibe. This is why in stuff I've read before, like in Eastern or Chinese or Oriental philosophy, is that, they always say, don't let someone disturb your peace. And there's more to that than I could dive into, because a lot of it's just like, don't let anyone, have control over you in some way. But the other factor is when I see don't let anyone disturb your peace, I just change the word around and say, don't let anyone disturb your vibe. Don't let anyone have influence over your vibe. If you're a business owner and you're in the service industry and you have a client and they decide not to sign up or not to work with you, and you're really hoping to grow your business and you needed that one and it didn't work out, don't let it get to you. I know it's harder than it's a lot. It sounds so much easier than it is. But there are systems in place to shift your vibe and help you to recenter and refocus. There are ways you can do these kind of things every single day. Okay. And that's what I want to share with you now is I want you to remember what it was like to be a 3-4-year-old kid. That's it. Remember what it's like to be at that stage. And if it's hard for you to remember that, don't worry. I'll give you some other examples, but I want you to remember what it's like, because at a 3-4-year-old, they just do what they love, what excites them, what brings them joy. They're in the present moment, and their imagination's at its peak point, at its peak time. So when you really look at that process, they really enjoy their life. They don't care what anyone thinks and just enjoy the moment. That's raising your vibe. That's having your vibe be high every single day. They are masters of the universe until they get tarnished by the world and the people around them in some way, shape, or form, because the things we haven't healed on, we pass down to them automatically. And so please don't take that as a negative thing. I just became a dad and I'm trying to be as conscious as I can in every little thing I do. And I know I'm going to miss things anyhow. So I'm not trying to be perfect and I'm going to beat myself up over it. But I know I have control over the things that I am aware of. And I'm always constantly doing work to be better and better. So it's one of those things where, how do you focus on your vibe every single day to be at a higher level? To experience bliss, joy, to have excitement like a kid, knowing that every day you wake up, it's a brand new opportunity, literally a brand new opportunity. That's how kids, I remember being a kid like that. It was a new day and I was like, man, what am I going to do today? Right. I was like, I'm going to play video games. I'm going to go outside and play basketball for a little bit. Then I'm going to go and hang out with some friends. And then, I got to eat, and then maybe watch some TV, watch one of my favorite movies. Like, I was so excited about the day. Even some of the stuff I would do over and over and over and over and over, I was excited about it. Where's your excitement in that? If you're not finding happiness in your life, you're not finding joy in your life, if you're not finding this zest in your life, there's a missing link. And this is where a lot of what I do in coaching helps individuals to find that fulfillment, to return back to being that kid and to create from that level. And some of my clients, they work with me just for a short period of time. Some of them I've been working with since the beginning, over 3 years ago, because it's how they want to master and have that guidance and have someone always to help them along the way. And so it's understanding that, going back to being a kid, when do you do it? Do it as many times as you can in the day. Just imagine being excited. But the key is in the morning, first thing, because you can get excited for the day, then hold that vibe as much as you can. And if something negative comes up and shifts your energy, go back and return to going into that vibe again, and just constantly do it. There's other things I can get into. I'll share some examples in some podcasts upcoming in probably the next month or so on how to shift your vibe instantly at a certain point, how to do it with a snap of the fingers, almost not literally snapping your fingers, but where you can recenter the energy, shift the momentum back in the direction where you want to go, and so much more. But for this podcast, I just want to give a nice little intro into about vibes again, and just the importance of it, and why it's so critical to return back to being a kiddo, because that's where our joy really lies. And we forgot what it is to be a kid again. We've gotten so serious about life. And I think we're at a point now, it's time to take a step back and really just enjoy the moments of what we have in this life by being a kid, getting excited, and just having true joy in all these things. So that's what I got for you guys today. If this resonates with you and you want to learn how to create this for yourself, create your life that you want to experience effortlessly, have your dream life, have success effortlessly. Okay. I teach this stuff. This is what I am an expert in. I help individuals, whatever the pain or struggle someone's going through, we work through that, create a break. Maybe there's limiting beliefs that are holding them back. Most of the time there is. There's some conscious stuff. Most of the time there is. And we re-empower some empowering beliefs rather than limiting. We shift mindset. We focus on vibe. And then we create that fulfillment in life to achieve what it is you desire. If that's you, and you're ready for that, you're tired of being where you are, or maybe not achieving the success you want to get as quick as you can, or you have some pain or struggle or just things that are just not where you want it to be, let's get on a call and let's have a conversation. There's no string attached. You don't have to sign up for coaching if I feel like I can help you and I share what I do with coaching. You don't have to sign up. The key factor is but those who are ready, those who are tired, if that sounds like you, what I just mentioned earlier, let's get on a call. It's in the show notes. Just go to the website, www.callwithdrvic.com. It'll take you right to my schedule, and you can pick out a time that works. I've opened up some slots to help people out to really create this shift, because we're coming to the end of this year and we're getting into a new year. And the new year, I have a feeling, is just going to be great for so many people, but it's doing this kind of work. I really believe this whole quantum thing is the elements of how we're moving into this whole different new world, in a sense. And it's the time to master these things. And I'm seeing it. I've seen it with so many clients. And it's one of these things where some major breakthroughs are coming through. This year has been a great year for a lot of my clients, which has been just amazing to see. And if you're looking for that kind of freedom, looking for that fulfillment, looking for that happiness, looking for that joy again, looking to double your profits, whatever you want to do in business, this is the work that we do. Focus on the vibe, make it happen. Check it out, www.callwithdrvic.com. It'll take you to my schedule. But that's what I got for you guys today. Focus on that vibe. Listen to some good music, play some music instruments that make you happy. Go, artwork. Go for a run, cook. I like to cook and do woodworking. That's what gets me excited. So it's things that you do that bring that joy. You'll find out that the things you are seeking and going after will come seeking you faster when you focus on that vibe. So if this is your first time listening to the episode, please do me the podcast. Please do me a favor and subscribe so you don't miss out on another one and all the updates we have going on. If you enjoyed this, please pay it forward by sharing it with someone you know, or just someone in general. Share it on your social media. And if you enjoy the podcast overall, please do me a favor and share a review. It helps get the word out, it helps expand our reach, and share this message more with the world. I greatly appreciate you. And until next time, this is Dr. Vic. I'll talk to you next week.